Welcome to Being at Home with George. And I'd like to talk today about dealing with adversity. And so, adversity will happen. And for some of us, we're experiencing adversity now, such as the hurricane that's happening. It's hitting Florida and it hit Puerto Rico and those places. So, we want to talk about adversity in general. How do we deal with it? Because some of us are in adversity now. And so, we go from survival mode, just trying to sustain life and to reduce the amount of damage that's happening in the way of trauma, loss of property, and whatnot. And so it's more challenging when we're in that survival mode to really be able to be in growth mode and be able to access that eye of the hurricane, if you will, or that ability to pause and reflect and to think about how to do things under the intensity of the current crisis. So we're there, and the best we could do is just pause, reflect, and what's important now, make the next play. Just get back to basics of food, clothing, and shelter, but mostly safety, and just maybe celebrating if we don't lose life, if we lose property, but we gotta seek the silver lining. And so, for those of us who are not under extreme adversity like that, we can be grateful, and yet we have to prepare for adversity. And what do I mean by that? I mean being able to access this ability to access this calm space, or what I call the eye of the hurricane. So those are skills and muscles we need to use. And then now we go back to the beginning, or what I talk about on all of these episodes, is this idea of creating the possibility of embracing, saying yes to whatever comes up, and at the same time generating hope. So if we can do that with minor things, with day-to-day things, when the big things come, we will be better prepared to be able to embrace it, say this is awful, this is frustrating, this is devastating, and I can generate hope. We'll get through this. And what's the lesson here? How can I turn what I like to call a roadblock into a stepping stone? And so we need to practice this. We need to practice this ability to be able to create space between stimulus and response. And in that space, we get the freedom and power to choose. And so for some of us who have already experienced devastation, the best we can do is say, okay, moving forward, what's important now, making the next play. And we have to get into that eye of the hurricane so we can create space between stimulus and response and make wise choices and recover, recoup, reset, renew, reboot. And for those of us who are having the non-adversity, if I were to say that, and to be grateful for the not having adversity, or what I would call a non-toothache. We don't appreciate the non-toothache till we have a toothache, and we do that, but we prepare for adversity by understanding that we have to practice this ability of embracing whatever comes up, and at the same time generating hope and understanding that the idea is to create space between stimulus and response. So we plan for things like this, and then we practice. We practice this ability to be in the eye of the hurricane, to say yes to whatever's coming up, and at the same time generating hope. So we have the confidence and the persistence mindset that we're going to keep doing what we're doing until we get what we need to get. And it's challenging when we're in the negative, when we're in survival mode. It helps us get out of danger quickly, but as a long-term strategy or even beyond the incident, it's not very helpful to be in that fight, flight, or freeze. We got to get into the rest and the digest. This idea of saying, okay, this is happening. I can pause and reflect, and then coming from that alert relaxedness. In other words, we're alert, but we're relaxed at the same time. So that's what's possible. So let's commit to doing that, being able to develop this ability to be in that eye of the hurricane. So when the storm hits, that we can still respond in a way where instead of adding to the devastation, we can minimize it or at least tolerate it to the degree that we're able to make the next play or focus on what's important now.